So Brandon, how you spell your name?
Brandon.
O-N. Some people, for some reason I had it in my phone as I-N. I guess I was typing wrong or something.
Yeah, my mom gave me as basic as it could come, which is good.
Are you from Cleveland? You're from Cleveland, right?
I am from Cleveland. I grew up in Cleveland the first 3-4 years of my life. After that, my mom enlisted into the United States Army. Her and her 2 other brothers. So about around 4 or 5, I end up going to Fort Carson, Colorado. That's where she was end up stationed at, Colorado Springs, which is amazingly beautiful. At that age, I didn't know much about anything about culture, about this and that. Everything was new. So, being able to go to rodeos, being able to go out to the mountain ranges, Indian culture, Hispanic, just everyone. So growing up young, I always knew that there were a lot of different moving parts going on. And so about around 7 or 8, she got out and we moved back here, which was different because I didn't remember here. Growing up very vaguely, we came back and I seen trees for days, and it was just different. And so.
Now what was her maiden name?
Brown.
So does I might have reckon I know her. She about my age or?
She's about mid-50s.
So that's what I am.
Somewhere.
I bet I went to Cleveland with her.
She went to Bradley.
I went to Cleveland and Bradley.
Yeah. Okay.
What's her name?
Donna Brown. My father's side of the family. My father, God rest his soul. His name was Ronnie Sharp. If you know any of the Sharp family, MacArthur Sharp, Max Sharp, Zach Sharp, maybe not. But I've been here most of my life. I've seen.
So she moved back here.
Yeah.
And you were how old?
I was just turning 8.
So you went to Cleveland?
Yes, I went to Cleveland High School. I went to school with Mr. Jones has a few children, so
yeah.
I've went to school with a few of them. So
you're about their age, I guess.
Yeah, I'm about around. What's his youngest son's?
Will.
I'm about Will Jones.
I always get him and Brandon mixed up on.
Yeah.
No, not Brandon.
Bailey. Yeah,
on their
Bailey was a
ages.
little bit younger. Me, Will Jones, and then do you know Toby McKenzie?
Yeah, his boy.
He had a daughter.
Shasta. Was that her name?
I thought it might have been Ashley McKenzie. I'm not for certain.
Oh yeah, Bebo's daughter.
But she was just a little bit younger.
Yeah,
so
redheaded.
Yeah. So I remember hearing stories about them. She would come to school sometimes and she'd be tired or whatever, and it's like, "Why are you tired?" "I just got back from New York on an NSYNC concert." I was like, that blew my mind as a young kid.
Did you go to college? You said you went to college?
I did go to college. There's a college in Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, Barberville, Kentucky. It's called Union College. It's a NAIA school where most people there, it's about 1,000 students, and half of them play sports. So it was one of those type of things. And
why is that? Why did you choose there?
It chose me more or less. I played football here, and it worked out. They gave me a good deal on a scholarship.
So you got did you apply for scholarships or? I don't know how that works.
Well, you apply for as much financial aid as you can. Is
that the FAFSA?
Yeah.
So I'm filling that out.
Right.
For my youngest son, and I cannot understand that thing.
Yeah, me and my mom, it took a while.
And you have to have passwords.
Yeah, you have to. You have to be on it. You have to be on it. But it did help me out, and it did help me find money and get financial
So
aid.
once you fill that out, say I'm filling that out for him, and I'm trying to get a password, and if he's already started, then I don't know if it's a different password. So once I do that, now my understanding is you have to do it every year.
Yes, sir.
So once you do it, what is that? Who does that go to?
I think it goes federal. I'm not for sure who it
And then
actually goes
so
to.
is somebody gonna call me and say, hey, you qualify for this or that? Is that the idea?
I think you get mail. I'm always a stickler for if I fill something out and you have a phone number.
I am
I'm
too.
gonna call you.
It's just so much easier.
It is.
And
but
not only that, but I call them to see if I'm crazy. But if I fill it out, like I've renewed my contractor's license
yes, sir.
Tuesday, and online,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if they got it.
Right.
So I'm looking online every day to see if I'd rather just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, did you
Right.
get it?"
Right. And again, like I say, it's been so long. That was maybe 15 some odd years ago that I did it, and I think it was more paper then.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, it would. Certain situations, things like that would be more helpful, but efficiency doesn't always run rampant out here. Like,
Do you are you a real efficient type?
when it comes to business, what needs to be done, I like to be very efficient.
So if somebody calls you, you call them back?
Yes.
Does it drive you crazy if you don't call them back?
Not crazy, but I want to know what's going on.
I always, when somebody texts me, I always end with the K.
Yeah.
So I keep going till somebody says K.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you don't know if they got it.
Right.
And if they got it, of course, you can have that thing on your phone where it says they read your text or
Right.
something, but then that's just another text.
Yeah.
So I'd rather them just.
I definitely would pick overdoing things in that instance to underdoing things, because when I underdo it, it leaves me with, okay, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. If I just overdo it, I'm like, they should get the picture. And if I don't hear back from them, then that's my picture back.
I'm the same way. That's a disease we've got.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
I think we have different, especially children, jobs. We have so many different forces pulling us in this direction, and we go from here, we go from here, we go from here. And sometimes it's good to just sit down and really meditate and wrap yourself up around like the task at hand. Because there's so many things we have to do. We have to pay bills, go to work, make sure we're healthy. We got to do like all types of things. Kids, pick up kids. It's easy to forget things. It really is. So I'm not going to say I'm the most organized person in the world, but
Well, you got to college on a scholarship.
well, yeah.
What was your major?
I went in as secondary education, but
What does that mean? Secondary.
high school, trying to teach high school, something
What's first?
like that.
What's that?
I
Primary.
want to
being
say
like-
primary. Yeah. I
Is
want to
there
say
a third? Is there a third?
professor.
So you were going to be a high school student or teacher?
I was working on it, but playing football and no excuses, but I had a hard time waking up and actually going to the next school. So it's like, let me change my major. And so I got into business marketing and
No, you had a hard time waking. You mean literally getting up in the morning?
getting up.
I have that problem too.
Yeah, after banging my head
It's
during
not that
practice doing schoolwork, I didn't want to wake up so early all the time, except for when it was time to go to
I just
maybe
don't hear
class.
the alarm clock. When I go to sleep, I don't hear it going off.
Oh, I hear it.
I can't hear it.
I hear it. I just press snooze. No, but when I have to get up, I get up. But the job I work now is more of a second shift job, so I can kind of, wake
But
up.
let's go back. You go to college. Did you graduate?
I didn't.
So
I didn't.
what'd you do then?
I ended up coming back here, and long story short, I've been part of the workforce in Cleveland. I've moved. I lived with my sister in Nashville for a little bit, and basically been part of the labor force, and just right now doing the best I can for myself. I don't have any children.
Well, that's good.
Anything like that. So I'm just doing the best I can for myself. But then, like you say, you get to a point, and it's like you want to know answers. You want to know why things are the way they are, and what can you do to change them, and how does that even fit what you like to do, and steps to go about it. So I've gotten to that point. I grew up, especially in Cleveland, there's a lot of talented people. There are a lot of talented people.
Now, where did you care to tell me where you work or?
No, I don't at all. I work at Longhorn Steakhouse. I serve.
Is that the one on by the interstate? Or
Yes,
is that
sir.
I always
Yes,
get them
sir.
confused.
Yes, sir. We do pretty well.
Is that pretty much interstate people, or would you say it's local people?
Some days I wish it was just interstate people, but no, it's Cleveland. Like, that's where you come to get real good steaks, they come in droves.
Is it what about this COVID? Have y'all shut down, or every other table, or?
No.
Just kept on going.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, that opens up a whole can of worms in itself that I don't know if I want to go into.
Well, nobody knows the answer.
Yeah.
But in other words, you just wear a mask and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I wear a mask. I think about, I think about it sometimes, like, yo. But
By the way, I've ordered some of those N95 masks.
yeah,
You can't even tell you got one on.
right.
They stick out where you can breathe, and they
Yeah.
don't. You can talk.
I've bought a few of them, and usually these work pretty well. The ones I've seen on the inside.
Before you leave, I'll give you one of them. I got a whole bag of them.
Yes, sir.
And you can tell me if you like it better.
Yes, sir.
So now you're at Longhorn, but you have an interest. Your interest is in East Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
Is that where you're?
That's where I live.
Reside?
That's where I live.
Now, what would you consider? I've always gotten confused about East Cleveland. I've got a map of Cleveland. Do we have that on? See if it's.
When I
So see, right here is Old Coy Street.
right.
Right here is APD 40. Right here's Inman. And right here's 20th Street.
Right.
Now, so what is East Cleveland? Because that'd be everything. It's a big.
To me, I consider.
There it is on the screen.
Okay, yeah. To me, I consider really cut and dry. You take Inman, you see the railroad tracks.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, Inman and the railroad track.
Yes.
Right here it is.
Yes.
Okay.
It's right next to the fire department, and the police department is right back here. There's a bar that's CBC. Then they have a fire station.
Yeah.
Right across that, like I said, right across the railroad. That's what I pretty much mean East Cleveland. South Cleveland to a bit.
So East Cleveland, in your mind, is the railroad track to APD 40? Or would it be
Railroad track maybe to APD 40, but beyond there.
Past APD 40?
Past APD, about when you're going up to the hill, like you pass APD 40, there's a Kangaroo on the right.
On the right.
There's the old Shake Shack.
Yep.
About around there, you're you're still in East Cleveland,
Yeah.
but you're kind of moving on.
Now, I heard somebody tell me this morning, actually, that Water Level Highway was the breaking point from where the reason they call it Water Level Highway is because that was where the water breaks from there and goes to the Conasauga River,
Right.
and from everything else goes to the Hiwassee. But anyway, that's beside
Yes,
the point.
sir.
So you're saying everything east of the railroad, not this side of the railroad track.
No, sir.
Okay. So the railroad track all the way over to a little about the.
Yes, sir. And then you maybe Dalton Pike all the way down to the state line. I consider that East Cleveland.
Now-
I consider. Sorry to interrupt you.
Just call me D.
D.
D-E-E.
D. I consider that East Cleveland like down to red clay and stuff like that. To me, that is red clay. To me, is like the foundation of Cleveland. Even though Cleveland is very big, and we have Paul Huff. To me, red clay like embodies everything that I think Cleveland is.
So that would actually be the county.
Yeah.
So how do we say East Cleveland when it's really sort of East Bradley County?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because at some point,
Some
from
point
the
it
railroad
does go from the city to the county. Yeah.
So what's your biggest ever? It's always been always a question of, like East Cleveland. There's a point where on this side of APD40, that's actually in the county.
Right.
They don't have any garbage service. They don't have any sewer system.
Right.
And I don't know why the city has never taken that in. I guess it's because providing the services would be so expensive.
Right.
So, but then what are the services?
Right. And I've tried to figure that out.
It'd be like schools, but
Yeah,
you got
it's
schools.
It's not many restaurants, and so you end up having to kind of leave that area to get what you want sometimes. And like I was saying, like we should be able to take that and put that back into that part of the city and just kind of grow. I'm not looking for a Fortune 500 company to put smack dab right there, but I think very small steps of entertainment, because that's just nice. Entertainment is always nice. Ownership, retail. We have great farmers around here. We have people that have personal gardens, things like that. And I just think it's untapped potential, because it's like the thought has always been we can't make money over here, which business is driven by money. So I just had a few ideas of how we could. Like I said, I don't have like a Fortune 500 plan or this, that, and the third, but I do have a few ideas.
Now, so you're saying more of revitalization of East Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
Not South Cleveland, just East Cleveland, just anything from the railroad tracks over. And I think that's part of that, what they call that, the Whirlpool and the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns, what they call it, Brown?
Brown stove?
No, they call it Brown something, where they can give communities grants to upgrade.
Right.
Have you seen that that thing that they put out in the newspaper a while back, where they're going to proposed Inman Street upgrade, and then they were going to the proposed stuff they're going to do with the Whirlpool property, and I think
I've heard this, that, and the third. I've heard what they may do. I'm not very concrete on what they may do, but I've heard it might be a park or something.
Yeah, a park,
like
maybe
that.
maybe even a pond or something, or
Yeah.
maybe an outdoor.
It's
An outdoor
something.
So like the woolen mill.
Yeah, the old
The old woolen mill.
Yeah.
And it's got well, I don't know since COVID, but I hadn't been there since COVID. But they have a grit and grace, or
Yeah, they have different little. I've seen boutiques there. I've seen different little things there.
so revitalization. You're talking about good traffic,
Good traffic. I'm talking about
businesses.
good traffic, business, like where the brown stove is at. I'm all for having a park. You know, I'm all for maybe things we don't even have in Cleveland. I always thought a go-kart track in Cleveland would be like how they have them in Gatlinburg. Now, I don't know all the rules and regulations. I'm sure you're going to have a good level of insurance to do that also. Yeah. But something that will attract people who don't live there to come there. This is nice, and this is where I want to bring my kids. And so you get from there, it's like, all right, after we're done running around and our energy, let's go get something to eat. Mm-hmm. And around there's nice places, and then you can kind of, get commerce going there because.
Which comes first? The
chicken or the egg?
Yeah, which comes first? The people, the traffic, the restaurants, the retail. I don't know which comes.
I think with the traffic, I think the next step is like, all right, so how can, in a business sense,
all right, so obviously that's got traffic over there.
How can we capitalize off of this? The one thing I'm not going to say angry, but the one thing I was indifferent about is every restaurant that I've seen kind of on Inman, really Wildwood Avenue. There was a old KFC. There was an old Sonic,
Reimers. Do you ever know Reimers?
Yeah.
Did you ever go in there?
Yeah.
When
Watson's. Are you talking about Watson's?
No, the old Wally Burgers, the Reimers restaurant. You know where Cameron's is?
Yes.
It was south of there. It was the old Reimers. They had real good hot slaw.
I've heard about them. I might have been a little
probably
bit
too young.
I was
for
a
that,
little bit
yeah.
too. Which Cameron's does great.
It does a big business.
But Cameron's is right there. Like it's at the tip. And Cameron's has been known for like years. So they got a good commodity going.
But then but KFC, yeah, you're right. They had KFC there and the Sonic. Sonic's still open, I guess, right?
No, sir.
It's not?
No, sir.
What happened to them?
Like I was asking the manager because I worked there one time, and he was like, "It's just the business. It's not enough business, and then it wasn't enough trust between. It wasn't enough trust between the business and the people running it. So they was like, I don't."
And the Sonic doesn't really have all that good food.
Yeah.
It's
it's just it's a little something, but.
And they also build it in a hole.
Yeah.
That's always bad.
Right.
If you show me a business that's built in a hole, I'll show you a business that's not doing very good.
So.
Unlike Longhorn on the Hill.
Right. So when I seen that, and I've always known, like, it's not many restaurants to go to. You get hungry, you're going to have to travel to APD 40, maybe go to McDonald's, Taco Bell, or these bars around, they serve food also, but you may not want to be around the bar that night. So the thing that kind of took me aback was there was Sonic and there was KFC, and those are gone, and nothing has really came back. But we did build 3 beverage stores on that same road. So,
and wasn't there a Hardee's over there? There was a Captain D's.
Yes.
That might have been before your time.
Captain D's is where Tebow's used to be at.
Tebow's,
Where Tebow's is at.
Yep.
So
And that's a bar,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a bar and 3 liquor stores on a street that you said isn't going to get, that can't sustain the business. So I was like, that kind of, it just doesn't.
I think a lot of it is, now you think about from Inman all the way to APD 40 on Wildwood Avenue. If that road was wider, that road would be probably more traveled than any road around.
In this city.
Because you think of all the people that would go down there if it was a little bit quicker to go down there.
Yes, sir.
And why don't they widen that road? And then back then, I guess a lot of the houses are right on the road.
Yeah.
You know,
So
like,
you're gonna have to you're gonna have to buy some space.
front yard.
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy a few people's spaces.
And make
on the
that a
front
real
yard.
thoroughfare.
Yeah, I have a neighbor. I love her, sweet old lady, and she's like, they gonna try to buy me out. She's waiting. So
She's for sale.
Yeah,
But you
she's
think
waiting.
about Dalton Pike, if you were to come in off Dalton Pike, if you was to go under APD 40, and you knew you could go to downtown Cleveland fairly quick from a wide Wildwood Avenue, you'd just stay right on there. Then you'd be bringing a lot of traffic in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think personally, Cleveland, like I said, I've done a little history on Cleveland. Cleveland, Tennessee was this was Cherokee everywhere. You know, I've seen, they have a map at the Sethra bus station where it was like, here's where it was, and then as we came,
Yeah.
So to me, Benton, you have Athens, you have Dalton, you have Cleveland. So those are 4 different. Cleveland's bigger than, let's say, Benton. Cleveland's bigger than, let's say, Athens. Maybe not size-wise, but maybe like population. So a lot of people still from Athens come down here, get something to eat, go to the mall. Benton, same way. So I always thought like that we're a great trading post. This is where you're going to get a mix of cultures. You're going to get a mix of food. You're going to get a mix of entertainment.
We're a 4-way stop.
Yeah, we're a
almost.
4-way stop for everyone. And
You know, that Taylor Spring was an actual stagecoach stop.
yeah, which I love
And then
trains.
then it became a railroad. That I'm talking about Taylor Spring.
Yeah.
And then then you got the railroad.
Yes, sir.
It's a major stop. So right there is a big
Yes,
4-way
sir.
stop.
And so I think this is just my personal thought. And like I said, I don't necessarily have the capital to make it happen. But you know how people be like, hey man, let's go to Dalton, let's go to the swap meet. Or hey, let's go Sweetwater, let's go to this swap meet.
Yeah.
If you put a swap meet in the middle of East Cleveland, maybe I can't speak for land that is owned, but
That would be cheap. You wouldn't have to have a lot of capital to do that.
Right. I think where they have that kind of farmer's market swap
Yeah.
meat, perfect.
Because they bring their own setup,
Yeah.
right?
Just blow it up, you know, and
That's not a bad idea.
that's
Now,
that-
don't they have I noticed on the woolen mill, on the back side, they'll have produce sales like once a week or something, Thursdays or something.
Yeah.
And then down behind the catch, don't they have a produce sale like on Tuesdays in the summer or something?
Yeah. Every now and then you can catch some.
So you're talking about maybe a whole place for that.
I am talking about. Okay, so the hardest thing into getting a business, if you don't have the capital, is getting that loan. Start up a business, small business. You need a loan. You need collateral. Not everyone. Some people have it. Not everyone does. And I think with that, would be a good way for especially people on myself, people on that side of town to start small within ownership and be able to grow from there. I think that is the most important thing out of anything. Yeah, it's not necessarily like, okay, I want a job that pays well. I think is how can we use this thing as ownership?
So what you're saying is, you may have hit on a point. It's not necessarily providing jobs, but providing opportunities.
Yes, opportunity.
So it's two different things.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Like the opportunity of me to start a career I want and then having a job I have to work are two different things.
Two different things.
And I still have to balance those. You know what I'm saying?
Now then they got the SBA loan or a bank loan or something like that. Of course, you have to have the idea first.
Yes, sir.
You have to sell somebody on the idea.
Yes, sir. I think people would be less reluctant to. It's not saying it's hard to go about things by yourselves, but when you do have, okay, I can rent this space out and I can have my merchandise. People who sell clothes. I have a friend, and this is what he makes: stay down and grind.
Stay down and grind.
Yeah, and it pretty much,
he should have put the and.
Oh, well, but he it's just small business, retail, and nowadays a lot of people get online, Amazon. So I know we're competing with that also.
Yeah, that's another problem.
But excuse me, but like I said, with that also, because we have a high military population too. We have a lot of people who have been to the military.
We have a large population of that in Cleveland?
Yes, sir. I think so.
What are the no statistics? You're just saying.
No statistics.
That'd be an interesting statistic, wouldn't it?
I would say a good third of Cleveland has either been military, especially older, been military. Family, aunts and uncles have been great granddaughters, and their dad, uncle, grandfather went. I was in Ohio one time coming back from Circleville outside of Columbus, and I remember stopping, and they had this little like I said, a swap place that you can go to, and they had military bags, which I've seen my mom have.
Yeah.
They kind of doll them up and they kind of do stuff like that. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. It was, the center was just a one-story center. It was big, but not the biggest one I've ever seen. And I just think things like that are very cool, and it showcases what we in Cleveland can do. I think people around here cook some good food. I know some people around here cook very good food, and I think.
Now let's say take a successful business in Cleveland that's home owned, or what do you call it, locally owned, like say Gardner's. You ever been in Gardner's?
I haven't.
Downtown?
I haven't.
Well, they got a little place there on Broad Street, and they do stay busy all the time.
Right.
So if you took that and you took it over to East Cleveland and set it right down in there, would they do the same amount of business?
I wouldn't.
I mean, I would go over there for them.
I would never tell no one to. Prime real estate is prime real estate. So, like, if you're somewhere where you're comfortable at, like, I understand that.
But I mean, is the success of the business because it's on Broad Street, or is it because of their food, or is it because of their management?
I think it's hard to have one without the other. I think everything works off of each other. Like, say you have in that place, say you have a military section, but say
Let's go back to a restaurant
Okay.
that has all three of those.
Yeah.
Good location,
good location,
good food,
good food,
and good people.
right.
Take one of those out. Will it work?
If you
don't have good food, you're not going to work.
if you got good food and good people, that's going to work because that can travel with you. Your
All right,
location is going to make
say
you
that
travel.
again. If you have good food
Yes, sir.
and good
People,
people,
that'll travel with you. Your location
give
is
me an
always,
example of that. Because you're saying it supersedes location. Cameron's.
Cameron's has yeah. I think Cameron's could work it anywhere.
It could work anywhere.
That could work anywhere. What is the burger joint going down South Lee? You know, the small little burger joint right before you get to
Oh,
the,
yeah, I love that place.
Yeah.
That's great.
They could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Probably,
you're right.
probably if they were somewhere different.
Now let's take
I'm not going to talk about that.
Now let's take Ronnie Pearson's daughter's place on Inman Street, that trailer. She got the.
I went to school with her. I went to school with all these guys. With
I went to
their-
school with Ronnie.
Yeah, with their children. So it's like
I seen Ronnie
it's
get
cool.
2 or 3 fights. He was,
Ronnie's pretty cool.
I like him.
I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his daughter, she's got the umbrellas there and the little fence around it, and it's cheap and it's pretty good. So she could make it.
Yeah.
And that burger place on South Lee Highway, as long as it's halfway easy to get there, you're
Right.
gonna go.
Right. Because that's going to speak for itself. People will travel wherever they're going to get good things from. If I could know somebody in Von Or, and if there's somewhere in Cleveland that's good, and it rings their bell, they're gonna be there, because
Maybe we give too much weight to location. I mean, the old rule is location, location, location. But maybe that was back when transportation wasn't
right,
so hard.
Right.
Because if you take the high rent and the high cost of building out of the scenario, maybe your business could make it somewhere that wasn't necessarily high traffic.
Right.
Unless you're selling gas.
right, gonna need some traffic.
But if you're going to eat, maybe it doesn't matter where you're at.
And sometimes it's better to
As long as it's not 2 miles out.
right, right. I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. I think we do have a lot of small businesses that have great food, great people. They could stand anywhere. But I also think like there's a way to get even more people to know about it. There's a way to have even more business. I think so. And I think starting in East Cleveland, maybe it's because I'm invested. I live there, and I see how.
Now, are you in the county or the city?
I'm city.
Where about where? You don't have to tell me where you're but just about.
Between Cameron's and the Pilot. You know the Pilot as
Yeah.
you're going? I'm right smack dab in the middle.
Pilot's sort of at the down.
Pilot is, yeah, you're about to
Yeah.
go down, but you're like just going over, and that's that gas station that's over to the right. It's right,
Close to the funeral home.
yeah, Dotson's.
Dotson's.
Yep, I can throw a rock off my front porch.
At Dodson.
Yes, sir.
Did they add on here recently?
They did.
Seems like they did.
Yes, sir. I've known him my whole life.
How old is he? Is he old?
He might be
I've never met him.
mid-60.
I've never met him.
Good guy.
Was
real
his
good
was
guy.
his family in it?
Yes, sir. I think his father was in it. He went to school, got his medical and all that stuff.
What's his name? You've known him your whole life.
I want to say Marcus.
Marcus Dotson.
Yeah, Marcus Dotson. He's got a son.
I'd like to get him in here and talk to him. He'd be great, wouldn't he?
Oh man, I'll talk to him because Dotson's a good guy.
Been around forever.
And he's smart. He's so smart, man. I will talk to him.
Talk
before
about
you-
his funeral business and East Cleveland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's been one business. I mean, you know, there's only two things.
They're dying to get in.
There's only two things promised to you in life, and he's in the business of one of them. So, yeah, I just, I think Cleveland as a whole needs a shot in the arm, because when we're saying business, I think we can only have so many restaurants, you know. And
Well, you got entertainment, you got food, you got.
I think on the entertainment side,
I mean, to me,
is entertainment, yeah.
but now everybody's playing games on the video machine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I pick up my phone and open up Facebook, and next thing you know, I'm working a puzzle, trying to figure out some kind of a backwards mathematical thing.
Right, right.
Kills time.
Right.
So I mean, people don't really go bowling
Right.
or go to the can't even go to the movies now with this COVID.
Yeah, COVID has kind of, especially on that side of town, like there's a lot of places, like you have Northeast Recreational Center, which is part of Cleveland. Cleveland City. That's part of the city. And so you have
now that's up on the hill.
Yeah.
And the one
Old
down
College Hill.
Yeah,
and
that's
then you
the
have
school, the Old College Hill School.
Then you have Mosby Park.
Yeah, Mosby.
Which was hot as the Dickens this summer, and we couldn't use it because of COVID. So, you know, take a few things away that are provided by the city, and then it's not much to do. You're going to have to travel.
And what are you going to do at those places? At Mosby Park, that's only a pool, right? And a playground?
Well, yeah.
What
yeah.
else is there?
I mean, you know, you can use some barbecues. I think it'll be the same as what you could do at where Maytag was, and if they plan to make parks, just the same kind of interaction. Maybe not so much commerce, but you know, a place of leisure.
Now, what's at College Hill? What do they do? I know that's basketball, right?
Yeah, they do basketball.
And what do you call that place?
Northeast Recreational Center.
Who's in charge of that?
Oh man,
is that the city school, the city recreation department, or?
I know the head of it. Her name is her first name is Shanika. She's the head over it.
What do they do over there?
It's pretty much a health
it's
club.
It's like a Y? Yeah,
a smaller health club kind of thing like that.
They have basketball teams, or?
They do. They have anything from where you can just come in and play, or you can
walk.
Yeah, you can come walk. You can play.
They have a daycare center or anything?
I don't think so much daycare, but they do have programs for kids after school also. So, certain level,
yeah.
But not total like primary children.
Kind of like the community center was, I
it's
guess.
pretty much the community center, just different location. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. So you know, things like that. It's
maybe it's more towards housing in East Cleveland. Maybe some restaurants, but maybe more housing. I mean, I've often thought you can if you were at Ocoee Street, real estate's expensive.
Yeah.
And if you go how far, and
goes down a little bit.
It goes down a little bit.
So that's why I say, like, I think we have a rare opportunity.
And why is that? Just because it's East Cleveland.
Just because the powers that be, like I said, I don't think this problem is just an isolated Cleveland incident. This happens everywhere across the country. So I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah. And I had a guy here a while back that was talking about Ocoee Street. He said it was always a lesser real estate values
Yeah.
for years. So maybe it's just revitalization that's,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's all. Maybe that's all. But how do you do that when you got all these separate owners? Because everybody's going to want
Peace.
a lot for
Yeah.
their property.
Yeah. Well, I think like even though I keep coming back to the swap place, that to me is an idea. It's like, how can we get
An idea for traffic.
an idea for traffic, but an idea for ownership and investment. How can we get people to come together and invest together without someone wanting to be the head? Not saying there's going to be a head somewhere, but how can we all kind of get a slice of this pie? Because that's what it's going to take. Because if it's just one person is over something or one person is making more than someone, I really think it needs to be more of a service to the community. We're going to make money, or you can make money, but I think, how can you give this community a shot in the arm and something to be proud of? Hey, you want to go down there to the swap place, get some funnel cakes, get some old Army trinkets, maybe a lady.
Now that's like
a lady's basket of
now
weaving.
you mentioned red clay. Remember the Nilly Bipper?
Nilly Bipper.
Remember that? They used to have that. It was like a swap meet. I call it a flea market.
Right. I've tried to stay away from saying flea market for some reason.
It's more of a swap meet, and I call it the. But let's say if you did something down in East Cleveland to get as a community to get something going down there, then some people would argue, hey, we got Mosley Park and we got this thing and we've got. So I don't know the answer.
I don't.
Now let's go with this. Let's go with this question. What's wrong with East Cleveland? Identify.
I think. I don't know. I don't know what is wrong with East Cleveland. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think there's a East Cleveland in every city that you go to in America. Like, there's this side and there's this side.
Now you're in the city. Actually,
Yes,
you're in the city.
Yes, sir. I think I think it's easier to say, yo, this won't work. This is why it won't work. But how are we? The person that you think isn't going to work, or the person that you think that is, the person that you think that won't, you may be able to change their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, opportunities and like you said, and like I was saying, an opportunity to have ownership, that may make someone look at themselves totally different. But when it's like, all right, I can't do this, I don't have this collateral, it makes you look at yourself like, what did I do wrong? It's like, you didn't do anything wrong. You were born in the batter's box. That's all it was. Like,
Not on third base.
Yeah, like that's, and you shouldn't have to feel bad about that. Because I think a lot of my friends I know, very educated. A lot of friends I know had to move because they're only going to get offered so much here. So, in whatever you have to do, I want people to see the world. Whatever you have to do for your family, that's absolutely great. But I think people do leave, and good, talented people from here leave. And so I was always just trying to figure out, like, how can we keep those people here, or even how can they come back and their voice be heard, or their product, what they're selling, or their services, how can those be integrated into Cleveland as a whole? Because like I said, like I said, I love Indian culture, but a lot of it, once, they were sent elsewhere. They were sent to Oklahoma. Whole Trail of Tears, we know about that. So I would love to learn more about that. I would love to see Indian culture around here. I would love for Cleveland is a great place. It's a growing place. It has great business people, but I think the foundation sometimes, the more time goes, I feel like we're getting away from what it was started on. I don't know.
You mean embrace our heritage, maybe?
We're gonna have to.
Of course, we ran them out.
Yeah.
So how do you embrace the people you ran out?
I think we owe
You
them.
could have a.
I think I'm not gonna say no one owes anyone, but we owe them. We're the ones who benefited from this. We're the ones who were able to make these companies on their land, and it's not,
So you mean like they've got a museum center for downtown Cleveland. There may not be anything in there of the Cherokee Indian, right?
And right.
Maybe there needs to be a Cherokee Indian museum.
I think,
between the railroad track and APD 40.
And I think
the Cherokee, what would you call it? Let's see. Now they've got one up at Charleston, right? No,
Yes,
what's that name of that? Hiwassee something.
Yeah.
Hiwassee, yeah. But you're saying.
I think it's even.
You may be on to something.
I think it's even bigger than, because I don't like to get into. I'm not a race. Nah, I don't care, because honestly, we were in Southern Appalachia, and it was it was me, you, the Indian guy. We were all here. You know what I'm saying? And for one reason or another, we've all been picked on. For one, they thought people in Appalachia didn't know this. They thought Indian man this, black man this. Like, we've all been through that. So I think we should celebrate who we are, what we've become. Because Cleveland has grown. Last time I checked, Cleveland is south of maybe 100,000 people.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe.
And we've
may
grown.
Be there by now.
We've grown. People from different states. It's lower cost it's safer. It's usually safer.
Yeah,
it still has everything that any other city has.
Just not as many of them.
Yeah, so
it's a good place to live.
Yeah, so I think we have to embrace who we are.
Now let's say it's a good place to live. If we get more traffic in here, maybe it won't be as good a place to live. So maybe the idea is not to get bigger, but to keep us the same size.
I don't think you can stop that. I don't think
you remember. You ever watch Andy Griffith much?
Little.
I know this is, but they had this guy they were going to build a statue of, and then because he was like the founder of the town or whatever, and they found Mayberry, yeah, and they found out that he was a crook,
right?
But they had already made the statue,
right?
And he was a crook because he paid to have the interstate somewhere else rather than coming through the town, so that everybody was mad. And then it dawned on them that if he hadn't had the interstate come there, then they'd have more traffic and they wouldn't have been Mayberry, so they went ahead and let the statue come in.
Understood.
So my point is, are we in a race to get to 150,000 people? If that's true, if what we like is small, is Etowah going to be a better place to live in the future because it's smaller?
I think issues are always going to be there, whether we're bigger or whether we're smaller. I've seen big cities with high cases of usage of things they shouldn't. I've seen small cities get hit
So
hard.
you're saying this is basically it's in proportion.
Yeah.
I
think this is life. This is how it's always been since.
So you think the traffic's coming, the people are coming, irregardless of
Yeah.
our rules. We can't put a fence around the county. Obviously,
it's not gonna.
So they're
it's
just
not gonna happen.
So we got to deal with it.
Yeah. So once we get to that point, how do we deal with it?
I think that's
Them
where
are the.
that's
them
where
are-
we're at right
yeah,
now.
them are the questions
Yeah.
that we have to really ask. How do we deal with it? What standards are we going to have? Who are we going to hire to help? Do these certain things. Who's the clean? Who's going to help clean? Who's going to help protect this? And those are steps that I think we should take and figure out.
Now here's something I've thought about. Let's say you're 20 years old and you're getting ready to go to college, or you're in college. What are you studying to be? If you're a CPA or accountant, which you got computers now and QuickBooks and all of that stuff, you need a CPA to fill out your income tax, but I'd say that there's a program on there for that.
Right.
And if you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, what are you going to be? We can't all be school teachers. So you say, well, get a factory job. Well, doing what? That's all robotics.
Right.
So what's the next level of the workforce?
The next level of the workforce, which I've seen, especially being online, is you pretty much be making your brand, whatever your brand is, whatever you sell from your brand, but you have to be good at electronically communicating to people and getting out your brand.
But first, you got to have something you're going to sell.
Yeah.
What is that?
It'd be from, I know people who do meal preps. Let's say I buy a 10-pound brisket, whatever we're cooking. And so I buy that, I season it real well. And so for people trying to lose weight, I have a meal already made for me. This is how many calories I have. And she makes meals for people and plenty different people. But today we're having this. So you're going to get a bag with your week of food and have your calories and all that.
So explain that again. So she from Cleveland?
Yes.
And
Yes.
she makes meal?
Makes meals. She makes meals.
Oh, you mean the MEALS,
Yeah.
not MIL.
No. Meals. Eat.
Oh,
Food.
she makes.
She's like a chef-ish, but
So you'd call her up and say, so that's like that, what's that thing on TV, the Weight Watchers? Don't they send you your meals?
Yeah.
So she'll make your meals
she'll make your meals
with your special diet,
with your special diet.
makes it in her house.
Makes it in her house. Probably. I don't. Like I said, I don't know everything, but I know. I mean, I would think like she would bring them to you, or you would come get them. However that is.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work.
I think she's based out of Nashville.
Oh.
So she probably lives in Nashville. It's not too hard to maybe take a box of meals or this, that, and the third. I have another friend. He owns his own car detailing business. It's Eagle Wash, which he had a pop-up shop here in Cleveland a few months ago where he washed cars. We did, Lord, we might have did like
Pop-up shop.
When I say pop-up shop, I mean like, all right, say Elliot's Boots, right? They're going to pop up somewhere and sell it. Not at Elliot's, but they're going to pop up somewhere.
What do you mean pop-up?
pop up. They're just going to show up in a
No,
location that isn't theirs.
Satellite?
Yeah, they're gonna do maybe a partnership with
Because
someone.
there's a bar in the Village Mall called the Mouse or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
What's the name of that?
Village Mall.
But it's supposed to be a pop-up bar, whatever that means.
Yeah, so it pops up every now and then, and people.
But they have their own place.
Right, right.
So a pop-up, you're almost talking about a swap shop or
When
a
I say-
vendor.
Yeah,
at
kind of like a
at
vendor.
okay.
Kind of like a vendor. You kind of show up, sell your things. It isn't where you're centrally located, but you're trying to get yourself out
Yeah.
there in different places.
Yeah.
So he did that with his truck. We found a spot, South Lee. I don't know if you know where the Easy Auto Credit was at right before Cleveland High School, and we
Hertz.
sat there.
Hertz.
Yeah, Hertz right now. So
I did the renovation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
It's we did about 30 cars, and we made good business, and that'll set you up for if you want to do it next year, and you have your 30 people already, and they're going to tell people, and it'll get bigger and expansive like that. I think most people around here, like I said, small business starting up is what people want, or what people can more or less afford. And I think we have to take that into account. Like, what can we afford? We want to be able to. Everyone wants to be able to have their own boutique shop right here and have this right here. But I think on a city level of recognizing your entrepreneurs and these young people are. I'm not going to say I'm not young. I'm 33, but the people just getting out of college, graduating, going in, they're so much more tech savvy. They have friends, TikTok, Twitter, all this stuff, so they can reach a lot of people at once. And most people I've seen start a business, either it be small around here, have been pretty successful, but they've had to kind of move into larger markets like Nashville or Atlanta or things like that.
I watched a documentary on, I can't think of the name of it, but I think it was called Germans, Why We're Rich.
Yeah.
And I think that was the name of it. But the whole premise of the whole documentary was that there was a bunch of very small, what they call factories, that were like 5 people.
Yeah.
And they'd operate out of a small location, and they would just UPS and mail their stuff to the customer, which is what you're saying.
Right. I mean,
so let's say this guy, the guy the branding guy. Let's say he was. Let's say he branded hats.
yeah.
So he would get online and go to TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and he would get it out there. And of the however many, 300, how many billion people in the world?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
So let's say, so if he could get out there in front of everybody, there'd be enough people that liked his hats with this saying on it. Say, man, I got to have that hat because it's got that saying on it.
Right.
And so he'd have to order the hat from somebody.
Right. Well, it's just like if you go to a say you're at an amusement park, right? And so you're planning to get a toy.
So you're at Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, so
You
you're
ever
at
been
Lake
there?
Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
You're planning to get a toy. That toy's costing them 80 cents that they're going to
Yeah.
give to you. You're going to spend
$20.
$20 trying to get it.
Yeah.
So you always want to, how can I not compromise the integrity, the quality? You want to get good quality, but how can I, all right, this cost me $5, let me sell it for 10. This cost me $7, let me sell it for 20, or however. A lot of it goes into your work ethic, how good it looks. You know what I'm saying? People love to feel comfortable. People want nice things. So you factor that into the situation. You're in business to make money, so you're going to have to make some money somewhere. So yeah, I mean that's
how
the way
much
it
money?
goes.
And how much money do you have to make to live? That's another. That's the other question, right? I mean,
Right.
how much money does the average person need to live?
I think that that varies because it might cost me a little less to stay in East Cleveland
Yeah.
than it does somewhere else. So
Yeah.
that varies
So
on
that
how
would
much
vary.
money it does take.
So,
I think being sincere and being successful, like I said, you want to make money, but being sincere and your product, your child, so to speak, being successful, I think that is the main thing. I may not see $1 million, I might, but I might be on a path where I can make that, or the next generation from me can make that. And I think that's what most people, if we're going to be frank and talk about East Cleveland, is not going to say not a bunch of people, but when we talk about generational wealth,
explain that generational wealth. Inherited, or
certain things, because you have an 18-year-old that has inherited car, house, and a business is different from an 18-year-old who has none of those.
big difference.
So you're going to have to get to that point, and we're all going to leave one day. So all right, it's about me, but it's like my kids, my nieces and nephews. My niece wants to start her own where she's selling things, hair care products and nails and things like that.
And this is online.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be online.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it's easier online. It's easier online to get your word out, especially, like I said, when you don't have a boutique shop, or if you don't have that shop. It's like, I can't pay that.
But
know
you
what
gotta
I'm
have.
saying?
But you gotta have somewhere to get the product.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where is the manufacturer? I guess. So
The manufacturer is still needed, very much so, but sometimes not. Like the guy who stitches his own clothes together, he's the manufacturer. In Nashville, I remember this man. I don't know if you've heard of Stitch and Company.
I've heard that name, but I have no idea what it means.
They make like tailor suits, and he's got building maybe like this, maybe a little bit bigger in the back there. They're doing all that stuff, tailoring up suits, and
Now, why would a person buy that? Why would a person buy that from him? Why would a person buy a shirt with just that name on it? Or why would a person buy cosmetics from your niece rather than just go to Dollar General?
support for the respect of ownership, the respect of entrepreneurship. I think that means a lot.
All right, so how much do we pay for that?
How much?
I mean, I know human beings, and they're not very compassionate. I mean, they'll say, I'll buy local.
Yeah.
And then they go somewhere else because it's cheaper.
Right.
But I think there is a thing about, I had this, Alan Jones was in here, and he had these socks made from this guy called the Catman socks.
Right.
And he gave me a pair, and I know the guy didn't make the socks,
Right.
but he's obviously branded it, such
Right.
as your guy here. And if I want some more of those socks, and by the way, they're really comfortable. It's,
Right.
it's unbelievable. It's like a really good cotton. I don't know. It's just really comfortable.
Right.
But so my point is, there is some value in what you're saying by branding it.
Yeah.
Going back to that same website and ordering it again from online.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, people have been buying stuff because it was a name for years.
Absolutely.
I called my plumber the other day and I said, "Hey, we're going to use so and so brand faucets."
Right.
And he said, "Oh, just get this other kind. They're cheaper." And I said, "Yeah, but I really want a good faucet." He said, "Oh, these are better."
Right.
But so this other company had done such a remarkable job in branding it, they had me convinced they were better.
Right.
But the plumber says no. So it may be branding.
But does that mean they're not good at all just because the other one is as good and cheaper? I think there's enough room out here for everyone, you know?
Because of, now if we were just on Main Street
Right.
and horse and buggy days,
Yeah.
then it may be
Then we're
different.
all like, yeah.
So if you was to get on the internet and only sell a very, very narrow market, extremely narrow. I don't know I can't even think of anything that would be narrow. Let's say that I only want to buy cups that are red.
Right.
So, and I will only drink out of cups that are red. Is there enough people in the world, if you could get that broad, that you could make a living just selling red cups?
I believe so.
I guess so.
I believe so.
Now, how do you reach them? Now you're getting into what younger people like you than me, we don't realize that. We're from the old brick and mortar location. It's got to be better and cheaper for somebody to buy it.
Right.
But you're coming from a generation that's almost saying, no, let's brand it, let's make it unique, and there's enough people out there that just want this thing.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're going to have to come with quality. You're going to have to come with different things, how you market them, you know, 2-for-1s, however you can get more product out. You want to make it exclusive.
Like this.
Yeah. I have red cups, but it's Mr. Red Cup. It comes with keychain. It comes with this. This is signed
by. Now, whenever I'm out and I'm with some people and I'm wearing a sport coat, guys always, for some ridiculous reason, they'll open my coat and see what name's on it.
Right.
Now, if you have to look, does it matter? I mean, if you have to look,
some people it does.
To me, it makes absolutely no difference.
I think it's easier for, say, more humble living, humble beginnings. It's like, hey, let's get how much we can, most of what we can for the cheapest buck. I don't think that everyone lives that life, though. Some people want Cole Haan shoes.
So I don't even know what that means.
And the $40 shoes that are not Cole Haan's, they won't buy.
What's a Cole Haan?
Cole Haan is like a dress shoe with an not athletic flair, but they're comfortable. The New Balance of dress shoes. You know, kind of comfortable, but
they're not wingtips by any means.
They can be. They can be. They're not like alligator Stacey Adams. They're a little bit more casual, but they're still very nice shoes. So, but they have their
stylish?
Own. Very stylish.
By whose standards?
I wish my...
by whose standards are they stylish?
That's like me seeing a pair of cowboy boots that's $500.
Yeah, let's say you see a. You going? My guess is you're not going to wear them anyway, right?
I might wear the $50 or $60 cowboy boots, but it's like, you know, whoever's going to buy it, you have to know your market also. Yeah. Like who's going to be willing to spend what. That's like the difference between maybe the ball-headed bistro and
that hamburger place on
yeah,
South
Logan's.
Lee. Yeah, no, the hamburger place on South Lee Highway.
Yeah, like there's like the difference. Like it's food. It's all gonna go in and come out.
Yeah, but if you go to that one on South Lee, you may run into John Rakestraw.
Right.
And you can sit with him.
Yeah, but it's the feeling that you have from in which you're getting. You know, the lighting, the music. Yeah. You might have
and some like it, and some don't.
Makes you, it makes and it appeals to it appeals to some people and it doesn't appeal to others. And you just got to find that. You got to find your sweet spot, where it's like, where can I make money, not be too overpriced to the people who are buying it, because you don't want to alienate who got you there at the same time.
So what you're saying is, if I was to go and find a manufacturer that made red pencils, not red on the inside, or had black marks,
right?
but it was red on the outside.
Yes, sir.
And if I knew how to properly tweet it or TikTok it,
yes, sir.
And if I had a manufacturer that could get them to me within 3 days, and I had an account at the UPS store,
you can make it happen.
That's remarkable.
Yep.
Now you take that same train of thought and tell somebody that's in their 70s, they think you're nuts.
Yeah.
They say, "How you gonna make a living at that?"
But
now you got to get how you get it out there. This thing. Now you're not even the guy that's making the pencil.
Right.
Let's say we get the pencil, and it's red, and we put SDNG without the and on it.
Right.
And let's say we put that on it and get him to sell it. Now this goes viral.
Yeah.
And everybody buys it for 6 months, and then nobody wants it.
Well, within those 6 months, it's time to get more merchandise. While the skillet is hot, you had pencils, all right.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Right, while you had pencils, well, let's have erasers, let's have whatever it can.
That reminds me of that Forrest Gump. Remember when he was jogging and that guy wants him to sign his T-shirt and he wipes his face with it.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Yes, sir.
So somebody branded that.
Yep.
Just like he branded Stay Down.
And Have a Nice Day now isn't what it was then, but then it was
hot.
Yes, and I've seen a lot of people hot and sell for what is per diem large, and then like KFC, the Colonel or whoever, a lot of those people died and didn't have the money that it grew into be. So
we're almost eliminating the product. We're just selling the feeling.
Isn't that what it's all about?
I don't know.
I think there is a certain level
now
of...
let's go back to that. Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't what it's all about?
I mean, well, gas isn't good. What's the difference between Walmart and Target?
Both of them you have to park. You have to park a mile away before you can get in there.
Right. So what's
the difference between Walmart and Dollar General or Family Dollar?
Not much. The size. So
we're saying that it's now about selling the feeling?
You have product, but you also have
Let's think of something me or you've bought in the last 2 years that we bought strictly on just made us feel good. It had no value outside of it. Just made us feel. What would that be? I'm trying to think what that would be.
I'm very practical. I've bought a few Bluetooth speakers.
Now I like black cups.
Yeah. Does that make you feel a certain way?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like it better.
So, you should be able to buy as many black cups as you want to. I mean, a cup is a cup no matter what, but
Yes,
if that
right.
makes you feel a certain way.
So there's a reason. So let's say somebody else because you're right, it has nothing. I could put paper together and probably
Right.
manage to get it drunk.
Yes, sir.
So let's say that the black has no value except to me.
Right.
I wear a black shirt. You know,
Right,
it's
I noticed
crazy.
that.
Yeah, it's everything's black and white with me,
Right.
black or white.
Right.
And so, see, the paper's white, the table's black, chair's black.
Right.
So that's just my idiosyncrasy.
Right.
So somebody else's might be, oh, this is a shirt by.
Right. I think it's just like salt. Do I need salt on my food? Not necessarily. Do I prefer it? Sometimes.
Now that's the point.
So
I eat salt to the point I think I need it, but I don't. I don't need it to survive.
With my beliefs, religious beliefs, I think that's the greatest thing we were given is a choice. And as long as you have a choice, I think when people don't have choices,
Having a choice has got me in a lot of trouble.
yeah, well, I think when you don't have choices though, and this is what you're forced to do, people are always going to push back. When you have a choice, it gives you creative freedom. Because, you go to work, you put some boxes together.
Who cares?
Yeah. So you get off work, hey, I want a black cup. That's going to make me feel good. And I think buying things does make you feel good, especially you've earned your money, hard-earned money, and you want to be creative. I think being creative in life helps us. I think it helps us become better people because.
So what you're saying is, I think I'm boiling it down. What we're getting at is, per what you're saying, adding salt to your food adds salt to your life. If it's something you like, add it to it. If it's something that you particularly like,
Right.
makes you feel good, do it. And we can be the person that provides them the salt.
All right.
The black cup or the red pencil
Right.
or whatever it is. Am I sounding crazy?
Yeah, no, sir.
Yeah. So say you. So, but we couldn't have done that in the past because in the past we didn't have access to 3 billion people.
Right. The risk, it was too much of a risk. It was.
Well, there wasn't enough people.
Yeah, this is gonna. You don't know if it's gonna.
You had to sell.
Be successful or fail.
You had to sell. Horse saddles.
Yeah.
And not you say, well, I only want a red horse saddle. They'd say, you're crazy, man. That's all we got.
Right here. But now somebody wants a red horse saddle.
You could probably make a living.
Off of
You're
selling
saying
red horse
because
saddles.
there's enough people that
Yeah.
have to have a red horse saddle like a red cup,
Yes,
like
sir.
a black cup.
Yes, sir.
Now we got to get to them.
Yeah.
So the manufacturer doesn't necessarily. Now I knew this guy one time that sold motels. That's all he would do. Just sold motels. He didn't sell gas stations or house. If somebody called it, in fact, I called him one time and I said, "Hey, I've got these people who want to buy a gas station. Will you sell them a gas station?" He said, "No." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "I just sell motels."
Yes, sir.
He wasn't even going to look into it for. So he really focused on that.
Yeah.
So a person could make a living with the new internet thing we got is selling red saddles
Right.
and red pencils.
Yeah.
Because people come to, and it doesn't really matter about the manufacturer. It does to a point.
It does.
It matters
The
that
manufacturer
much.
is still. There's this guy, like, you try to cut out the middleman, because the middleman is gonna make your money.
All right, the middleman being who? The department store.
Right. If you can have your own department store, then you're good. It may not be in a big department like Walmart, which you're also competing with Rawlings, you're competing with Wrangler, or you can have something that's special towards you. You come in there, you might have the music playing that your customers like. You might have
That may be the salt.
yeah.
The salt.
Yeah, you start throwing on your flair and who you are. And I think people come around. People do.
There's enough people that you can get access to.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past there wasn't.
Right.
Now, how do you get out there to them?
Oh, you work your tail off. You work your tail off. If you're talking about sending necessarily merchandise.
Well, it has to be. You have to be marketing this through the internet, right?
Right.
Through.
But it takes even more than just that. Like, you're going to have to. You ever heard of this guy named Rick Ross? Okay. So he's a entrepreneur, and he loves entrepreneurs. They send him stuff, and he's online. He has 1 million followers, 2 million followers. And if he puts your merchandise on there, usually 9 times out of 10, next week your merchandise is going to get a spike.
It's almost like Shark Tank.
Yeah. So
he displays your thing.
yeah. So you're going to have to find those relationships. You're going to have to work and get there. But it's very possible nowadays, because we're not as far. Okay, say there was Elton John, right? Mm-hmm. Biggest star I've ever seen. I'll never meet this guy. Like, this, that, and third. Nowadays, you can send him a link, and you can send him something to a P.O. box that he has out there, and he could help you with your marketing. Nowadays, like...
For example, how?
Like, on Instagram, if you...
Let's take your guy here.
Yeah.
Your
if he sent this to this guy...
Well, let's say on this show, somebody's looking at it and say, I like that.
I wore this for a reason.
Yeah. so that's what we're saying here.
You have to be, especially if that's your company, this is your baby, you stay conscious of what it is you're planning on trying to make a living off of, trying to, make your commerce off of. It's just, and it goes back to what I say, like, in East Cleveland, like, just people wanting ownership, people wanting to small business, open up, become bigger, and help this be a springboard moving into other things in life. And I think it would just help. I think there's more people like my friend who has ideas like that, and
it's a great idea. It's something that you almost you can't get there till you think about it.
Right.
It reminds me of that show, Duck Dynasty. Mm-hmm. They were selling duck calls. I guess you can buy duck calls anywhere.
Anywhere.
I don't even know what they are. I don't even know what they're calling them. Duck. I don't know why they're calling them.
Right.
I don't even know nothing about that, but I know they sell them.
Right. Those guys are in you're home every week.
And if
you're
they
watching
and,
it.
and if they were wearing a certain type of something, my guess is a lot of people would go out and get that.
Yeah. And there's power. There's a certain level of power that comes with, not just saying money, but with your influence. And like, are you going to use your influence for good or bad, or being different? You know, so.
But this is all done through marketing on the internet. Because let's face it, people aren't watching Seinfeld and grabbing the Snapples. You know, they always said, "You want a Snapple?"
Right.
That was the same thing, right?
Right.
They'd say,
And a lot
Snapple?
of places have taken hits because it has changed.
So now it's not that TV show because we're not watching that. We're on Facebook or Twitter or doing whatever we do, and it's not watching a sitcom. They're not watching I Love Lucy anymore.
Right. It's the ads that say skip ad or I'm going to keep watching.
Or they see a celebrity doing something.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, I want to be like him."
And then the next day
I want a black cup too.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, so how do you get there through that social media? I mean, I go and I'll post something on Twitter, and
It's like
Toby Pendergrass tweets it, and nobody else ever sees it.
It's like the same thing with our with the president. There's probably been more flags with his name. So
now, the last time somebody mentioned
anything.
him, they wouldn't let me put it on, so we can't even bring it up.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, okay, yeah.
So I don't know why that is.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is, like, influence goes a long way. And who you know
it's almost
goes a long
like
way.
it's almost like that's the only way it can go now. I mean, let's face it. I'm not going to get the Cleveland Daily Banner tomorrow,
Right.
and see the ads for shoes.
Right.
I'm going to be on the internet sometime tomorrow, and they're going to show me what shoes I want.
Right.
So it's becoming influence or pop-up ads, as you said about.
Which I think, like, with how you said, like, how things were different, and now with these kids, I think it's like we got to meet in the middle, because, you know, bootstraps, like you said, the old guard, not the old guard, but the way of doing things and the new way of
Well,
doing,
the way
we have to learn from each other. I think in life it's too big to be like, oh, okay, I'm right, solely right. Like, we have to continually get better and evolve. And what's the average lifespan is 70-something years.
I hope.
Every year we're trying to, you want to evolve.
When you're my age, you say 90.
Right.
The average lifestyle is 90.
I'm not going to be the same person 10 years as I am today and who I was 10 years ago. I have the same foundation.
What did you think 13 years ago that you don't think? You look back and say,
I thought it was
man,
easier.
I was wrong.
I thought it was easier.
What did you think was easier?
Just thinking it would happen. Like, oh, this is going to happen.
What's
supposed to
going
happen.
to happen?
Just anything. Great job. Why? Like, you're going to have to work for every single thing that you have. Being young, I played sports, didn't have a job, all that stuff. So when I got into the real world, I was like, oh, I got to work. And it took me a while. It took me a while to be like, okay, this is what you have to do.
Well, just to be honest with you, I keep thinking that all the time too. It in a sense, it gets worse.
Yeah.
As far as getting ready and being prepared, and I mean, it gets more complicated.
Right.
I mean, and maybe we complicate it. Maybe we complicate it ourselves.
Like, I commend you, though, because I feel like this is something you have a passion for. I have a feeling this is something you love to do.
I just, I was kind of burnt out, and I thought, what do I like to do? And I thought, well, I like to sit and drink coffee and talk to people.
Yeah.
Just bat it around. Sometimes we even talk about the wrong way and say, oh, that was the wrong way.
Right.
At least run it down the rabbit trail.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I'll just do that. And I thought, hey, I'll just film it.
Yeah.
And so everybody else, instead of having 10 people here, it can just be 2 people, and we can talk about it. But back to that, how do you take that far? Using your theory, let's say we were selling these cups on this show.
Yeah.
Well, let's say I branded it and said the discussion. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sell these cups.
Right.
Who would buy it?
That's on us to figure out. That's on us as the producers. It's like, all right, who's my circle? So how can I start there? Like, who am I talking to? Because that's all this is.
That's all it is.
Who am I talking
Maybe
to?
that's all everything is.
That's all it is.
That's
who am
all
I talking
it is.
to? Like, and so I think.
So you're beyond the food, the basic need to eat.
Yeah. So we don't.
That's
need
all
much
it is.
else. We don't need much else, but a nice TV and cable makes us feel good.
So I'm saying that this branding of the shirt, you're saying it's all branding.
Yeah.
That's all it is past the basic food, shelter, clothing.
That's the difference
it
between
didn't say good
Longhorn
food, good shelter,
and Logan. It's like, which one do you really feel more comfortable in?
Well, this one I can throw peanuts on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like peanuts on the floor.
Yeah, I don't like peanuts, so I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
I don't like their steak, so I'm going to where. That's all it boils down to. Because at the end of the day, you only have so much time to even think about that. I got off work, got my kids, paid my bills. I want to go out to eat. What do you want, babe? She may not even tell you. She may.
Yeah.
So you got to make that decision. What do I really want? What am I about to go spend this money on and not feel like someone took my money from me? I feel like I got every dime out of it.
Now are we talking about quality or a feeling? Because if this red cup, if this was a black cup, say, well, this black cup's better than that black cup. It doesn't matter.
Not really, yeah. It does.
So beyond it holding water,
right.
Beyond it being a vessel, it's just the salt.
Yeah.
It's just what you like, whether you like some salt or a lot of salt.
And so you get down to salt. Is it sea salt? Is it pink salt?
Yeah.
Like,
or some people don't like salt they like. But I'm saying it's just the other thing you prefer.
Yeah. And I think quality isn't just what you say is or what I say is. It differs between everyone.
And does it change with time?
Now that's a good question.
Like, cause what's that old saying? I always get it confused. Fashion's temporary and style's forever, or is it style's temporary and fashion's forever?
I think style is forever and fashion is temporary.
Style is forever.
Yeah. Fashion week happens for
That's right, good thinking.
Yeah,
fashion week.
It's for spring collection.
Yeah.
Next
this
year,
year's fashion.
No one will
so
want to wear it.
style is forever.
Yeah.
Fashion is temporary.
Yes, sir. So.
That's a good point.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever thought of that?
No, not like that.
But you're right.
That's
fashion is for a week.
Right.
Style is forever.
Yeah.
So, let's see, where was I going with that?
I just think it's in Cleveland. It'd be nice.
Yeah, back to Cleveland because we went all the way out. Yeah. We went out 300.
It would just be nice to mix it up. You know, I've heard stories about how Cleveland, Inman Street was, you know, you had businesses down Inman Street.
Yeah.
And this, that, and the third, and then you had the Village Green with the bowling alley. Now, seeing as I've gotten older, those kind of things have kind of shifted to where, more of the mass of people.
Northwest, I
more
guess.
where the mass of people are, and I get that.
Now let's go back to this, because we just talked about the internet and going worldwide and selling your thing after you've branded it, and some people just want your salt that you're selling.
Right.
But then we come back, and you're saying something as basic as a swap meet,
Yeah.
which is absolutely the complete different of that.
Right.
Or maybe you do both.
I think the meat to me is the startup from where we want to go to. We want to have these brands, but we also want to be
This thing.
Or this feeling. But let's bring all those different brands, all these different feelings into one spot.
Now, isn't that's like the incubator at Cleveland State? Don't they do something like they got some kind of, they have a building that they have small businesses in it. They call it the incubator.
Yeah.
But I've had some people tell me it's hard to get in. They have a waiting list and all this other stuff. So you're saying that a larger piece of property,
Yeah.
that you could have what I call a flea market, but you say a swap shop.
Yes, sir.
And these people could display
Yes.
their makeup, their brand of this, their
Wovens.
their red saddles,
Anything, yes.
their black cups,
Yeah. And then you also have, like I said,
The
have
pop-ups.
food.
the pop-ups.
You also have venues where you can do music. Well, around there you have music and maybe bands come around and do.
And so you're saying that from these places, these vendors they're not sending their kids to college from that little spot, but this is a place that they can springboard off of.
Right. We can bring our kids here. And look at Dad. Look how Dad is doing this. You stay here with me tonight. You close up with me, and I show you the process, because even more than college can put you in very financial debt. And even more than having what you learn from college is having tangible experience on hand. Like you being able to manage, you being 16 and pretty much being able to manage a company or maybe your own store. I'm not going to say it means more or matters more. Once you hit 18 and you got a lot of debt and you're just a student who doesn't know much compared to someone who has worked the books, then you're going to have a leg up, I think.
Now you show me any college student that's got college debt that can even tell you what they've spent for it. They don't even know. They're almost being put on that debt
to go.
That they don't even know how much the debt is.
Right. And I think that
we can't even fill out these.
It's crippling.
And you say, well, they got grants. Hey, let them try to fill out that online FAFSA.
Right.
FAFSA
That's
form.
why the parents have to.
Yeah.
It's not even easy enough for you yourself to have to do
so
as an 18-year-old.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I just think I think we should just think outside the box a little bit. Like some things are going to work, some things are proven to work, but like I said, like if you can kind of show your kids, how stuff is ran, how stuff is marketed, how the books are kept, good with money, filling out a check, things like that. I think that has just as much value as having an accounting degree from Georgia Tech. Like I think.
Well, and let's face it, nowadays it's not even going to matter if you got QuickBooks or Peachtree or what's those Quicken or those programs that automatically figured up for you.
Right.
And your credit card company is going to send you a statement of what you spent.
Right.
So why do I need to keep a checkbook?
Right. You get it.
So
you get it very much.
I think what you're saying is not that you have all the answers.
No.
But that you're saying we need to think differently because things are different.
Changing. Things are going to change. Things are changing. And I've caught myself being a 33-year-old man like, oh, things are being done differently. It's not how it was when it was 1999, like when I was 13, 14, like things are changing. So I think we have to keep up with that change and things, people, I don't think people are bad. I really honestly to the core don't think people are bad. I think
people as to the core can really be bad.
I think situations turn people. I think different situations turn people.
Well, if we can get them to buy a shirt because it's got SDNG on it,
right?
What if we not let them buy the shirt? I mean, if we're that fragile, of people to go one way to the other because it's
right
one color,
right? We should be able to have our choices, though. Choice is all we have out
freedom
here.
of choice.
That's all we have. And I'm happy I live in America where you do have choice. I enjoy capitalism. Capitalism, everything has its own things. Everything has its own good and bads. But I think within capitalism, like I said, ownership, yeah, like I said, the people of Appalachia, my Indian people, my African Americans, like ownership.
Are you part Indian too?
I'm part Indian. I'm part African.
You look like you have a little Cherokee Indian.
And I'm part Irish.
Irish?
I'm part Irish. So I am East Tennessee.
That's what we are. The Irish came through the Appalachian.
Right. So I am, that's what I've always thought, like I am the embodiment of what this is, what we are. So that's why I care so much about.
You don't get much more mixed than that.
Yeah. That's why I care so much about, like I was saying, red clay and all that. Like I care so much about this place. And I've seen a lot of people move for however you need to move and make more money, this, that, and third. I'll never hate on that. But
now with all this knowledge, what are you going to do?
Me?
Yeah, what's the plan?
Invest. I want to get me just a shop.
Doing what?
Like I love customer service. I love talking to people.
See, I hate customer service.
Oh, I love it. I wouldn't have came here if I didn't like talking to people. But I love it, man.
Now I had this friend of mine that cut hair.
Yeah.
I went to him for 15 years.
Yeah.
One of the smartest guys I've ever known. And he said, I said, why do you cut hair? And I asked him, I said, Raymond was his name. I said, Raymond, I said, how did you get to cutting hair?
Yeah.
And he said, well, you have to go to Murfreesboro and get a 4-year degree in economics. And then I had to go live in Florida for a year and teach school before I cut hair.
Yes, sir.
And I said, well, I didn't know you had to get a 4-year economics. And he said, no, that's what I had to do to get here.
Yeah.
In other words, he had to go through all these things to get there,
right,
to know that he needed to get there.
Right.
So that's what he had to do.
Right.
I don't know why I just said that.
Well, I've seen. I don't know if you know this guy. He had a sausage bar outside of Riverstone. You ever been to Riverstone, the liquor store?
I don't know. I don't even know where it's at.
It's just down the street by in front of, what is it? Food City.
Oh yeah, that
behind. So I've seen,
I know that Sheehan guy.
Yeah, and he had like just a little food truck, maybe a van, food truck. I haven't been knowing him for a long time, so I'm pretty sure he traveled to different places. And here just recently, I seen where he's opening up a place to like a restaurant, you know. And so I guess when you ask me what is my plan, like that is, I love serving people. I love good food. And you know, things upon that, you know, branding shop, T-shirts, keychains, just being an entrepreneur, maybe having my own business and letting it grow from there. Like learning from different people, different manufacturers. Like you said, I can get a bunch of pencils that are just red, but just having the opportunity to do that.
Maybe you're right. Maybe what you're suited for is to give other people that opportunity. Maybe it's not that you're trying to be the service guy. Maybe you're actually servicing the entrepreneur. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe the swap shop. Maybe you need to rent 10 acres.
Yeah.
And say, you can park here during the day.
Yeah.
And you can we'll charge you $10 a day or whatever.
Right.
And you're good at customer service because you weed eat once a week.
Right.
Maybe that's what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
That way you don't really have a product. You just have customer service.
Right.
But they're your customer.
Yeah, I like helping people.
That'd be helping the entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
The very startup.
Yes, sir. I think we need that. We need a good entrepreneurial spirit, especially for, like I said, East Cleveland to, because you know,
all right, so maybe this thing we're talking about in East Cleveland.
Yeah. I think we need it. I think, because I don't know how this city's going to look in 10 years. I don't know. I'd be like, for Wildwood to not be able to have a functional restaurant and it be like 15, 20 years have passed. I just think like, we need that. It'd be nice to just go get food on that side of town and go home. You know, sometimes
people would do it.
Yeah, and
so the customers are there.
Yeah, the customers are there. I would just like to see it. That's all. However, I can get in the mix. I don't know. I might have to go talk to some people, get told no on a few issues, but I do want to plant a few seeds in a few people's heads. And
I have a strange feeling that you're going to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, sir.